You suck at buying clothing.
Welcome to the Mark Boudelier Show, where we show Johns and sometimes drip. Drip or drown, baby. Drip.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is I, Mark Boudelier, and today we're gonna have a little chat, a little discussion, a little one-on-one about why you suck at buying clothing, how you can make your wardrobe better, how you can stop buying bullshit. Before we get into this very great episode, if you're new here, hi, welcome, and subscribe. Hit the push notification bell, maybe a like, maybe a comment, all those things that make the video, do better. And if you're returning, thanks. You can also do those steps as well. Anyways, today's episode could really get into a lot of ranting, so I made some very vague bullet points. Usually I just, freeball all my videos and figure it out as I go, but we're gonna have a little bit of structure going on. So without further ado, reason number one, you are buying too much clothing. That sounds like an obvious one. I think most of us can agree that we do this. Whether you're running up a credit card on Essence sales, whether you're surfing Grailed 12 hours a day, buying something every single week, whatever it is, whether you're going to a thrift store and coming away with like 5 bags every single time you go, all of those things can contribute to problems. And a lot of these problems really could make it into their own video where I go into like more of an at-large, like environmental, all that stuff. But even just from a style perspective, which is where I'm gonna kind of keep it at today, you create a lot of clutter. You make it hard to find what you actually do wanna wear. You make it hard for you to remember what you even have. I live in a very small apartment in New York. Even when I lived in Atlanta, it was a very small apartment. So it's like, that space is valuable. And as much as I love clothing, I don't want my entire space to be filled, floor to ceiling with clothing that I can't even keep up with. Reason number two, you have holes in your wardrobe. So even if you are buying all of that clothing, like I mentioned in reason number one, you might still have holes in your wardrobe, meaning maybe you're buying 5 bags of clothes at Goodwill every single time you go, but you don't even have a rain jacket in your closet. Maybe you're running up a credit card on the Essence sale, but you don't even have, brown boots or fresh socks and underwear or a nice belt. I think it's very important that you kind of have a good solid foundation. I feel like a lot of people talk about this. It seems kind of obvious, but even myself, I have holes in my wardrobe. I don't have a good pair of brown shoes right now. Most of my sweaters, sweatshirts, hoodies, and all that, most of them are black. Reason number three, you are allocating your money poorly. This also kind of ties in line with everything else that I've been talking about. If you are spending all of your money on shoes, which is typically the culprit, and then, maybe shopping at H&M for the rest of your closet, I just don't think that's the best way to build a wardrobe. You can do that. That's not a problem if you really just value shoes. Maybe you want to buy some super expensive shoes and thrift the rest of your fits. Fine, whatever, do what you want. But for me personally, my recommendation would be to kind of spread the wealth a little bit more. Before we continue to the next one, another thing that I don't even think I put on this list is simply to not spend all of your money. So that's gonna be reason number 4. Don't spend all of your money on clothing. It's just not a good idea. Whether you're young, whether you're older, don't spend all of your money on clothing. Especially, all these like Afterpay things and Klarna or whatever. Do not use those. It's not worth it. You kind of dig yourself into like a bit of a hole, both financially and like even mentally. Every time you buy the most expensive clothing item that you've ever bought, you kind of create that line of like what's okay. Say I buy something at $700, which for a long time that was the most I had ever spent on a singular item. Now, the next time you see something that's $700, you're gonna be like, oh, well, I already did that. And then it's like more acceptable, I guess. When in reality, $700 is a lot of money for one singular clothing item. And that's kind of the point that I also wanna make, Set your boundaries and stay kind of true to those boundaries. I probably should take my own advice. Also, I think as you kind of build a wardrobe, if you want to buy those pieces that you really, really, truly want, and like maybe that item is like $1,000 or something crazy, sometimes it makes sense to buy those items and just buy a lot less overall. And I think that's kind of like a higher level, like as you get older kind of thing, because you've already sort of built that like foundation a little bit more, and you kind of have those pieces to kind of like maybe trade away. So you're not digging as deep into your pockets. This could also be another video, to be honest. Like a lot of these, I can't really get too far in depth or else this video would be like 3 hours, but you kind of see what I mean. All right, back to the scheduled programming.
We were not preparing for snowfall today. Well, I wasn't personally.
We are what they call Southerners. This would put us out like a week in school.
I can't remember the last time I actually walked in snow, so this is kind of crazy.
But we're going to Say to do some hipster Brooklyn coffee shit, and then we're going to Casaburo showroom, and which is actually just his crib, and then also somewhere else. All right, you now have entered the YouTube video. Do content. What's your favorite piece that you're seeing?
I'm already holding it, dog. These big old pants that you can make into little old pants.
It's a cute little detail. Nice clasps. Very wide silhouette.
Should I be doing more or not?
You
Just stand here.
The YouTube is pretty cooked at this point, so. So it doesn't really matter. Reason number 5, you are selling too much. There's a lot of people, whether a reseller or not, where you do this whole like recycling method. You sell a bunch of your wardrobe to buy new pieces. That's great, especially if you're doing that all secondhand. No problem with that at all. In fact, go ahead, do you. But be careful with what you're selling, especially, we keep talking about these classic pieces. I'm always very hesitant to sell things that I think I might like come back around to. For example, I have a pair of Pair Boot Michaels. I bought those, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I wore them for a bit, and then I kind of just didn't wear them for a while. But like, something in the back of my mind would not let me sell them because I'm like, oh, these are a classic. I'm gonna wanna wear these again eventually, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, recently I've been wearing them a lot. So definitely made the right judgment call there. Those judgment calls get better as you age, as you make mistakes. You're almost guaranteed to make mistakes if you like are someone that actively buys and sells clothing. My 2 rules of thumb is be careful with getting rid of like high quality classic items, and be careful about getting rid of like very rare items. Maybe you bought a jacket that's worth $1,000 now. $1,000 is a lot of money, right? But if it's like super rare, 2 years from now when you decide, oh wow, I wish I still had that jacket, you're gonna look on Grailed and it's gonna say like 3-5 grand, something insane, and you're gonna be shit out of luck. So be careful with that. Reason number 6, you are too easily influenced. Obviously, in 2024, everybody's an influencer, it seems like. Everyone's a content creator. You're scrolling through TikTok and you're seeing like a new face every single day. And there's a lot of varying viewpoints. Not to say that any person is wrong per se, but like, of course, there's gonna be the people who are talking about stuff that's like higher end. There's gonna be the people that are talking about stuff that's sort of in the middle. Maybe some people talking about thrifting. And there's gonna be the people that are talking about Jaded London and Elwood and all these brands that are kind of just not it, in my opinion at least. Brands that I think are kind of corny, that I think are a little overpriced, that I just think are under-delivering and just kind of oversaturating the market. Next up, and I feel like we already sort of got into this, I think it's reason number 7. Your wardrobe is not cohesive. Maybe you're buying a bunch of statement jackets, a bunch of statement pants, a bunch of statement t-shirts, and you don't have any basics at all, and everything clashes, and like it's hard to put together an outfit even though you have like a wardrobe of like really incredible stuff. It's just that none of it goes together. That's an issue as well. I guess the whole message of this video basically is to create that like backbone of your wardrobe, but also like even with certain brands, like some brands just don't really mesh super well with others. And I think it's like super unique when people can take like sort of different universes and like mesh them together. But also I realize that that's like pretty high level when it comes to like styling. But yeah, I think it's important to kind of like, when you're buying stuff, to make sure you have other items in your wardrobe that, the piece can go with, especially if you're spending a lot of money. And then last up on my list, reason number 8, is that you're buying stuff that's too trendy. I think a lot of people can get sucked into this, especially now. It feels like everything's kind of trendy. And so like for me, I think the best way to remove yourself from that is to simply just like, try and scroll a little bit less, and also just like take a step back, kind of find your like lens when it comes to buying clothing. I can't really explain what I look for. I just sort of know what I look for at this point. And like I feel like a lot of pieces of my wardrobe do kind of connect with one another. Like there's like similarities drawn. Like I feel like my Craig Green addiction kind of started with pieces just catching my eye that all happened to be Craig Green. And then I was like, oh wow, like maybe this is a brand that I'm interested in. And then you just kind of go down the rabbit hole from there. That's pretty much my video. I kind of feel like it wasn't as structured as I wanted it to be. And I kind of feel like I rambled a little bit. But hopefully you enjoyed it. So if you did, leave a thumbs up. Leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyways, until next time. Bye. Bye.